Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage. In today's video, we'll be going over a refreshing cool down with below normal temperatures for the upper Midwest over the next couple of days. And that will bring rounds of storms as a battle zone will be going on in between the country with severe weather possible through this upcoming week in rounds. And a tropical weather update with tropical systems trying to form in the eastern Pacific Ocean. We'll get into those details later on in today's video. But going back to yesterday, it was a fairly eventful day, especially across the western high plains here from eastern Wyoming down the northwest flow into portions of northwest Texas and western Oklahoma. We had two tornadoes reported yesterday, 79 wind reports, 42 hail reports, with 6 of those being 2 inches in diameter or larger, for a total of 123 severe weather reports going back to your Saturday, July 8th time frame. And as we go through today, we have more of the same with northwest flow, some refreshing air across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley region. That is complements of an upper level low across central Canada up here by Hudson Bay. But we have the ridge of high pressure continuing to dominate across the southern Four Corners region, West Texas, and northern Mexico, bringing the extreme heat across those zones as we go through the rest of this weekend. So looking at your high temperatures, a decent cool down for the Midwest. This is what you can ask for in the middle of July here. Temperatures will be in the low to mid 80s, possibly some upper 80s with some of that ridging trying to build in over the top there in toward Montana into the Dakotas. But it's extremely hot from Texas, especially south central Texas, westward across southern New Mexico, southern Arizona into California, where we have a lot of heat building with temperatures well in excess of 100 degrees Fahrenheit, 109 there in the Phoenix region later on today. But this will foster more storms across the eastern United States. A couple areas we're watching for a slight risk in the yellow shaded color from the Delmarva region, eastern Pennsylvania, down across the East Coast into the eastern Carolinas. And then we have another slight risk across the Dixie Alley region from the Texarkana area through Shreveport here through Mississippi, Alabama. This does include the Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Montgomery, Alabama, those areas later on today for storms. And you can see not everybody will see storms, but as we get to the afternoon, peak daytime heating, these storms will start to blow up in intensity and coverage and will become more numerous, especially across Dixie Alley here, with more scattered activity across portions of the mid-Atlantic and down the East Coast this afternoon. And then the attention tonight, later on this evening and after midnight, will turn back across the southeast through Mississippi and Alabama, North Georgia, as we have a complex of heavy rainfall and some strong wind-producing thunderstorms that could be rumbling their way through the Jackson, Mississippi region, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, and maybe as far south as the Montgomery region as well as we go on later on through tonight. And then as we go into your Monday to start the work week off, we have more of that northwest flow, but the ridge starts to build further to the north across the Rockies. So we start to build the extreme heat a little bit further to the north on Monday, and it takes off on Wednesday during the middle of the week, with that ridge building all the way up here into Wyoming, Idaho, and portions of Montana with northwest flow. We have a battle zone going on here across Nebraska, Iowa, Missouri, and even into Illinois by the time we get to the middle of the week, and that could spell out more storms. But with the ridge building, it will bring some heat. Again, on Monday, heat will be building. We're back into the 90s across portions of the Midwest. You see a cold front up here, though, across North Dakota, northern Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin. That's going to bring some relief behind it as well, with lower humidity and 70s for high temperatures. But ahead of that, it's all about the heat on Monday. That continues on Tuesday. The cold front drops a little bit further to the south, bringing more storm opportunities into that battle zone area. And then as we go into Wednesday, look at the extreme heat. Much of Texas is in the 100-degree heat and even approaching 100 in the Oklahoma City area by the time we get into Wednesday, July 12th. But what this will bring is some relief, but we have to get through the storms. We have a marginal to slight risk for severe weather, mainly highlighted across the Great Plains from Nebraska down through west central Kansas, eastern Colorado, getting into northeastern New Mexico, much of western portions of Oklahoma, and into the Texas panhandle as we go into Monday. And you can see where the rainfall will be falling, especially across the Great Plains. It won't be particularly heavy on Monday. I'm expecting more scattered coverage of storms. So again, not everybody will see thunderstorms and severe weather, but if you get under one of those storms, a brief inch of rain could be happening across your region from Nebraska southward to North Texas on Monday. Then as we go into the middle portion of next week toward that Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, it's getting a little bit more concerning. We have a very strong upper level jet stream over the top of that ridge here, and this is what we have to look out for what we call derechos as we get toward the middle of the week. This is on Tuesday, but look at Wednesday's jet stream really starts to get energized across the northern United States, across the Midwest and Ohio Valley, and that could spell out some trouble. So on Tuesday, July 11th, we do see a slight risk for severe weather. This does include portions of southwestern Iowa, including the Des Moines region, down here into northwestern Missouri toward Kansas City, northeastern portions there of Kansas, and the east central portions of Nebraska, Lincoln, North Platte, some of those areas in effect with some of that storm activity. Further to the east into Milwaukee, Chicago, and Detroit, that's more of a marginal risk for now on Tuesday. We'll be keeping an eye on that. It looks like an MCS, or a mesoscale convective system, will be initiating off of South Dakota, pushing east-southeast through much of Iowa during the overnight hours on Tuesday. So this will be a later day event on Tuesday as it traverses across Iowa. And then as we go into Wednesday, I think we have a medium probability for severe weather across central Iowa, getting into especially central Illinois, northeastern Missouri, getting into central and western portions of Indiana as that complex continues through much of the day on Wednesday. A couple scenarios could pan out. The complex could continue to maintain its intensity through this region through Wednesday, or it could fall apart and have renewed severe thunderstorm activity develop through this region as we go through Wednesday afternoon and evening. So a couple scenarios still could play out for your Wednesday time frame. We'll keep you up to date on that, but it will be producing heavy rain. So on Wednesday, wherever you see the rainfall here, whether or not it's severe or not, we will be seeing heavy rain from Detroit back through Milwaukee, Chicago, Peoria, Illinois, and then getting down here toward the south and west, Hannibal, Quincy, down here towards St. Louis, those areas getting some heavy rain as we go through Wednesday. But going through the better half of the work week from today through Friday, July 14th, we will be seeing some heavy rains, especially across the mid-Missouri Valley. That's where the heaviest of rains will be, from western Iowa down here through central and southeast Missouri. Some areas could see in excess of 2 or 3 inches of rain. Also some fairly heavy rainfall as well into eastern Quebec, down across portions of interior New England into Vermont, New Hampshire, western Maine, getting into eastern portions of New York State and western Massachusetts. There could be possibly up to 6 inches worth of rainfall as we go into those areas through the week. So definitely watching out for some flash flooding. But you do notice where the ridge of high pressure is building. We have a lot of sinking air, lots of sunshine, lots of heat building. So you're not going to see a lot of rainfall across the west or the southwest as we go through the week. But it's good we are seeing the rainfall across portions of the Midwest and Ohio Valley, because we are starting to slip back into a severe and extreme drought across this area. So we really desperately do need the rain, and hopefully we can get it. And longer term, through the third week in July, this is July 22nd, the heat will continue across the south. The ridge really doesn't ever get a chance to build further north like we see usually each summer, as it usually builds into South Dakota or North Dakota. It really kind of stays squashed across the Gulf Coast and the desert southwest into the Four Corners region through July 22nd, and that will force below normal precipitation across those areas during that time frame, with more of the active jet stream over the top there in the Pacific Northwest, diving down across the upper Midwest into the East Coast, with some near normal to above normal precipitation favored as we get through that third week into July. Well, looking forward to your tropical weather update here. Looking at the North Atlantic, you do see a 20% shading of an area of interest here from the National Hurricane Center over this region. This is well to the east of the United States, and it will not be a threat whatsoever, but it is a powder keg with the water out here. A lot of warmer waters than normal. So any system that does get going, we have to monitor across the North Atlantic. You do start to see a system developing, very weak, 1008 millibar low, maybe a tropical depression trying to form there on Tuesday, early next week, across the North Atlantic, again, well east of the United States. And then possibly another system underneath that trying to develop late week by Thursday as well. So, but these will stay away from the United States. If anything, these are going to be pushing further towards Europe rather than the United States as we go towards the later portion of next week. Well, looking here at the Eastern Pacific Ocean, there's two areas of interest with an 80% probability of development over the next couple of days to the next week or so across these areas. Warm waters to be had. The first system's running out of time as it has a little bit cooler waters encountering its region there, but the other system behind that, crossing over the Central Americas and moving into the Eastern Pacific, has more residence time over the warmer waters here, so we could have that system become a little bit stronger towards next week. So looking at today, maybe some development of a system here across the Eastern Pacific today. This is running out of room, so it's, even if it does develop and become named Calvin, it's really not going to be named for too long because it is pushing into some cooler waters, so it'll be a brief system there. Then on Tuesday, we're seeing our next system. This could be named Dora as it moves into the Eastern Pacific, 1009 millibar low by Tuesday, and then quickly developing toward a tropical storm status potentially by the time we get into that Thursday, July 13th timeframe, according to the European model. The GFS model basically implies the same thing. It's a little bit more biased toward a stronger solution, as the GFS tends to be as well. But also the Canadian model, can't discount this, is also a stronger solution as well. So maybe the GFS this time is onto something with Dora, especially with being over the warmer waters longer in the Eastern Pacific. So that will be something to watch middle to late week, but that will also be pushing west and away from portions of North America. So all the systems in the tropics are pushing away from land, so that's some good news. But if you like detailed weather breakdowns on North America, including southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. You get nothing else like this on YouTube, I promise you that. And again, if you enjoy this, make sure to press the subscribe button so you see me again on these videos. Make sure to like the video down below, give it a thumbs up. It helps to get all of this weather information out to more and more people. It really does help out more than you know. If you want to follow me on Twitter for additional weather forecast updates in addition to today's video and my channel, be sure to press the description down below the video. Follow me on Twitter at hweather420. I do post on there fairly regularly throughout the week. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe down below, like the video, give it a thumbs up, leave any comments, questions, and concerns below. If you have any questions about the weather pattern, I will be answering each and every one of you. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great rest of your Sunday and a great rest of your weekend out there.